It's time for The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to The Pet Show. Is your Afghan acting a little anxious? Are your Siamese behaving a bit too sassy? Does your beautiful Chihuahua have you crazy? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and want to truly understand your dog and cat's behavior as well as they understand yours, and believe me, they do. If you're confused about your dog or cat's behavior or just want to improve their lifestyle, you know what to do. Stay tuned because once again, right here, right now, it is time for The Pet Show. America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, pet lifestyle show. So hop up on my couch. Bring those furry little buddies with you, folks, because yes, it is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, the place where we absolutely never a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect your pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you want to join me on the Evergreen Pet Show family, you have a question about your dog or cat's behavior, you want to just brag about a dog or cat you recently rescued, or a dog you grew up with that really may have changed your life, great time to give me a call. And let me just remind everyone, if you happen to be new to the Pet Show, first of all, welcome. Second of all, everyone that calls in and gets to talk to me live on the air today will get a fabulous gift. Many of the items I give away worth as much as $50. And the reason, again, for that is many of the times I'll be giving away items that are totally related to the situation you may be talking about or the situation you have a question about. So we'll have plenty of time to answer all of your pet and animal questions. And as I said, lots of great stuff to give away. So if you have a question about your dog or cat's behavior, maybe you're concerned, maybe you've noticed some changes in your dog or cat, maybe their behavior's kind of gone one way or the other, give me a call. That's what we do here on the show, help you resolve any issues that you may be having with your dogs or cats, or as I say every week, any issues that your dogs or cats may be having with you. And as I told you, it's not easy living with people. We are so neurotic compared to our dogs, and our cats are so much more consistent than we are, and I think that's why it's easier for us to live with them than very often it is for them to live with us. So if you have a question, if you have a comment, if you want to share a great story, brag about a dog or cat, a great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA. That's 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. Lots of time to answer all your questions. Lots of great stuff to give away. Whatever you want to talk about on today's show is fine with me. You know, some people asked me recently, I had a lot of interviews this week about military dogs and how they're trained and how they respond. I'm very concerned about that. But also, people are just concerned because it's, let's face it, it's a crazy time and people are stressed out. So it's interesting that this week, whenever there's a crisis that goes on around the world, and this is more than a crisis, but whenever there's a crisis going on around the world, it seems that the anxiety, the stress, the fears, the worries of the humans that our dogs and cats live with really go from one end of the leash to the other. And I've noticed an uptick in emails and questions I'm getting on my YouTube channel specifically about dogs and cats that seem a little bit more stressed out than normal. A couple of them stopped eating. Why would that be? They're not watching TV. Maybe they're not listening to the radio, but it's your reaction. People are so unaware of how our reactions affect our pets' behavior. So we're going to talk about that coming up a little bit later. If you've noticed those changes in your dog or cat, I'd love to hear from you as well. Again, the number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5750. I got to tell you, I am so upset about what's going on in the world that it's stressing me out, and poor Molly and Willie can feel that as well. Let me tell you what I have planned for today's show, besides your calls and your questions, which are always my priority. You know, many behaviors, and I mean many, many behaviors and trainers, and I read this all the time, and I hear it from listeners all the time, their trainers, their behaviors suggested stated that ignoring your dog's bad behavior will often control those unwanted or negative behaviors. Is that true or is that false? Should you ignore your dog when they're doing something wrong or not? We'll take a look at that as well. Love to get your opinions also. Also coming up on today's show, veterinarians are putting out a warning to pet guardians about an unsuspecting but still very, very dangerous item that may be lurking in your backyard and you may have no idea that it's there. Also on today's show, if you're a regular listener to the Pet Show, you know that I answer so many questions about people calling with their dogs suffering with abandonment issues or separation anxiety. Well, we're going to take a little different take on that. When you leave your home, who is more stressed out? Is it who or whom? Who is more stressed out, you or your pets? So, do pet owners suffer more with separation anxiety than their pets went away? The answer may really surprise you. So, when you leave your house, are you a little separated? Are you anxious because you're leaving your pets? Also, for my feline lovers out there, yeah, we love my cats. We really do. Someone asked me that day how many cats I've had in my lifetime. Even after taking off my shoes, and counting my fingers, way too many. I bet you instinctively that over 250 cats have lived with me in my lifetime. Yeah, and every one has been absolutely amazing. So, speaking about cats, this is kind of interesting. Is the color of your cat's coat linked to your cat's behavior? Is the color of your cat's coat linked to their behavior? Yes or no? As always, folks, plenty of time to answer your questions and comments. Lots of great stuff to give away. So, if your pet is jumping, chewing, scratching, maybe that rescued feline feral cat is not using a litter box. Maybe that beautiful puppy you adopted isn't housebroken. Maybe your dog's not getting along with other dogs and your dog literally believes if he sees it, he has to hump it. That's what we do here on The Pet Show, help people resolve any issues that may be having with their dogs or cats. The phone number here at The Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, I know sometimes it's frustrating because you're holding on for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but I promise you, I will get to all of your calls, as many as I possibly can. We got 2 hours to do this, so plenty of time for your calls as well. So, the question of the day, and I've asked this question before, especially now when things are so stressed out, and it's almost difficult to have conversations with friends and other relatives. Everyone's off on their own little tangent. So, do you find now that you're having more conversations with your dogs and cats? And do you find that your dogs and cats kind of have your personality as well? So are you having more conversations? I know I am. When I'm stressed, I just love sitting down with Molly and Willie, having a conversation. And the reason for that is because they're such incredible listeners without necessarily forcing their opinions on me. So I think it's a great time if you're feeling stressed with what's going on in the world. Obviously, you want to listen to the radio, but remember, the most important thing is also to have those conversations with your pets. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Phones are getting busy. We're going to get to all your calls, I promise. And as I said, lots of great stuff to give away on today's show as well. So does your dog or cat have your personality? Molly and Willie, how do I explain this? Molly, my rescued, amazing guys, brother and sister, high kill shelter. I love them and adore them, and I would do anything for them, but they're different. Molly has more of Denise's personality. Molly's more laid back and had a lot more patience than I do. Denise is very patient. Let's face it, she's married to me. But on the other hand, Willie is, how do I describe Willie? I mean, how can you describe? Willie is like the ever-ready bunny. He's always on. That little stub he has is always wagging. When he wakes up in the morning, he's in a good mood. Molly wakes up a little slower. Denise wakes up a little bit slower than I do. When I wake up in the morning, I'm ready to go. It's interesting how incredible our personalities match the pets that we live with. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Great time to give me a call. Let's see. Let me start out with a phone call right now. The phones are getting real busy, so let me go right to Barbara in Huntington Beach. Hey, Barbara. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Good morning. Bless you. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good morning to you. How are you doing today, Barbara?
Oh, I'm doing great. I just want to tell you that, listening to you, I've had pets all my life, and I always thought I knew everything about them. And listening to you, I've learned so much, and it's helped me with my pets.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
What I'm calling about is I have a little Chihuahua, Maggie May. I rescued her when a lady threw her out of the car on the freeway.
Gosh.
And I've had her for 3 years now. What confuses me with her is she sits on the couch on her little throne and watches the front door like she's looking for someone. And when I take her for a walk, when I get to a certain spot with her, without fail, she stops, she turns around, and she looks back. And my question to you is, even though a dog has been abused and tossed out like trash, do they actually, look for their previous owner, or is this just something, a little habit she has?
Well, it could be either or. And the reason I say that is very often dogs have an incredible memory, but more importantly, they learn through the associative part of that memory. So there might be something specifically in that area, a scent, something that may be provoking a response on her. For example, I remember years ago I was working with a dog. The dog was incredible, would walk anywhere, loved to play with other dogs, loved to hang out, loved to do this, loved to do that. But yet, when this dog would pass a bicycle, he would just freeze. He would just absolutely freeze. So I've delved in a lot more and found out that this dog was previously dragged in the back of a bicycle when it was younger. So they may not know exactly what happened, but they do associate. So there might be something at that point. What are you doing when the dog freezes up and stops at that point?
I just stop. I let her look back. I don't, try to pull her away.
Yeah, but then you can continue. Once she looks back, can you continue on the walk?
Yeah. We can continue, on the walk.
So it sounds to me, Barbara, that there was something that went on. There's something triggering that response. It could be a sound, could be a smell, could be any number of things. But I think you're handling it exactly right, because if you would overreact to it, that would be creating more of a response on her part. So you're doing everything right. Just sometimes, we expect perfection from our dogs. Sometimes I stop when I'm in the street and I look around. So it's just the way it is. Sometimes we're going to do that, but sometimes we're looking for why, and sometimes there's not always an answer. If I had an answer for everything, boy. So I have nothing to worry about. Go ahead.
One thing that you've talked about is when your dog barks, if you tell them to it's okay, I got it from here. Well, I've done that. I had a neighbor tell me she said, you have the best trained dogs in this. I live in an apartment complex And it was because of what you had said many times ago about, because I have another dog, he's 16, Sancho, but like you said, he became Cujo on walks. He would go after big dogs, he'd go after people, it was just a struggle. And I started telling him to mind your own business, just mind your own. I just kept repeating it. And now the neighbors call him the mind your own business dog.
It's funny. It's funny you said that. And I'll tell you why. And then I got to move on. But I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It's important, and it's kind of what I said. It's important to have conversations. Anyone out there, and there are so many trainers that have disagreed with me over the years. They're all gone. Warren's still here. The bottom line is having conversations and talking to your pets. They understand a lot more than a lot of people in my profession give them credit for. That's why you always hear me say, talk to your dogs, talk to your cats, have conversations with them. And sometimes what people tend to do when they have a dog that's barking or a dog that's reacting on the street is they try to overly correct the dog, where all of a sudden the dog is getting more attention for being bad than for doing what's right. And you heard me last week, I was talking about the concept that the most important thing to teach a dog is not the word no, contrary to a lot of people in my profession. The most important word to teach your dogs is the word yes. Hey, anyway, I got to move on, Barbara. Let me do this. Let me put you on hold, Barbara. I am going to send you for your Chihuahua I am going to send you, what do I want to send you? I'm going to send you some Lucy Pet Food. Let's keep them healthy. Let's keep them happy. Let me take a quick break. We come back. We got Nick calling from Hawaii. We got Frida calling from Long Branch. I think it might be Long Branch, New Jersey. David calling from Irvine. We'll get to all your calls lots of times to answer your questions. Lots of great stuff to give away. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Does your dog or cat have your personality? Let me rephrase that a little bit. Not only does your dog or cat have your personality, does he talk like you? Do you have the same beliefs? Give me a call. Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. 866-870-5752. Let me tell you about my friend. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Great time to give me a call. I got some Authors Who Gold to give away, copies of my best-selling books, some great hemp seed oil, natural flea spray, Lucy pet food, T-shirts, lots of other stuff as well. Great time to give me a call if you have a question or a comment or just want to share a great story or answer my question in terms of does your dog or cat have your personality. Great time to call me. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Just before I get back to the phone lines here, very often on the radio show, you'll hear me recommend people that have cats to go out and get boxes. And people are saying, Warren, why do cats like boxes? And I'll tell you why. Because they are ambush predators. You heard that right. If you live with a cat, you know what I'm talking about. They're ambush predators, which means they catch their prey by stealth. They will quietly stalk their prey until the right moment and then ambush it. That's why they love to hang out in those boxes and changing those boxes. It's really important. A box to a cat is like a Nintendo to a young child. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Great question for you guys as well. Now, we know we set our clocks back tomorrow. I believe that's what we do. We all set our clocks back tomorrow, so we kind of, I guess we gain an hour. Is that the way it works? I was talking to Alex before the show. I was talking about his cats, and we were talking about the fact, well, his cats won't know. And they said, Alex, yeah, they're going to know it because you're going to be feeding them an hour later. And they said, oh, you know what, Warren? You're right. So do you think our cats and our dogs pick up on the fact that it's daylight savings time, that they're going out a little bit later, that they may have to hold themselves a little bit longer, and may get fed a little bit later? Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you as well. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, Nick's calling from Hawaii. I'm going to take his call, but I'm not going to answer his question. You'll see why. Hey, Nick, welcome to the Pet Show.
Thank you.
All right, so here's the deal. I know you're calling from Hawaii, and I hope everything's going well for you there. But here's the bottom line. Herding is an entirely different thing. I have done every type of training possible, even some herding early on when I was younger. But that's really...
there's a mistake, Warren.
Yeah, go ahead.
My question was hurting, H-U-R-T. He hurts them.
Oh, yeah. So, no, but in other words, he's a Catahoula. He's with a bunch of sheep, and he's herding the sheep. Is that your question to me?
No.
Okay.
Hurting. 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 She harms them. She draws blood.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I mean. She's hurting them. So in other words, she's going after the sheep and she's attacking them. I'm guessing that's what you're talking about.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, so that livestock aggression is very, very difficult to resolve. And quite honestly, I would love to give you a quick resolution over the phone. But what I would do and I know there are people that specialize in herding work in Hawaii. I would find someone who really specializes in that. I could give you answers over the phone, more socialization, more training, more exposure. But I really think, and it's very rare you'll hear me say that, I really think getting someone that can actually visualize the way the dog is reacting. Is it passive aggression? Is it active aggression? What's going on specifically? So I think what I would do in your case, Nick, is try to contact someone who specializes in herding, because part of what they need to do is socialize their dogs, obviously, not to herd the flock of sheep or whatever type of herding they're doing. So I wish I had a better answer for you, and it's very rare you hear me kind of escape an answer, but I think at this point it's such an ideal thing. As a matter of fact, one of the women I trained many years ago now runs the largest herding operation in the Northeast, but that was years ago, and it's been a long time. So I think getting someone who's been working with you right now or someone in Hawaii is the way to go. So I wish I had a better answer for you, Nick.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Don't go anywhere, Nick. I'm going to put you. Let me do this. Guy.
She's a wonderful dog. She's just,
Catahoula. Catahoula. They're amazing dogs. It's the Catahoula leopard dog is just an absolute the state dog of Louisiana. What you may want to try is an air horn. So let me do this. Let me put you on hold. Let me send you one of those amazing air horns we have and we send out because they're just incredible. They're small. They do amazing work as well. Everyone who has a dog should have one of those air horns, whether they're walking a dog in Los Angeles, New York City, or Maui. It doesn't make any difference. Hey, the phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Do have a couple of open lines. The phones were jam-packed when I came in, but I know sometimes you lose them on the cell phone. So now's is a great time to call me. 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA. Let me squeeze another call in here. Let me go to my friend David in Irving. Hey, David, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren, can you hear me?
Absolutely, David, like you're right next to me. What's up?
All right. Number one, we canceled daylight savings time for the pets. Okay.
Good.
Forget it.
Good.
That's just a comment. Number two, I have a question. I go to the Irvine Bark Park, and there's a number of dogs who, when they see their owner with a leash, run away, will not come near him. I've got a friend of mine who's got a Jindo bought from an H Mart parking lot, actually. He's Persian, and he has to ask other people to grab his dog for him every time.
Well, here's why. Let me give you an example. If I was playing ball and I was out in the field playing with my friends and my mother and father called me and I was having a great time, I'm not coming back so quickly. Dogs are smart enough to realize, I did a whole segment on this on Today's Show years ago, dogs are smart enough to realize when they're at the dog park and their owner's approaching with a leash, they're going to have to leave their friends. They have to go home. It's boring. They're enjoying themselves at the dog park, so they don't want to leave. That's the reason that very often when people are at it, and I get this question, how do I get my dog to come to me at the dog park when I want to go home? Well, maybe the dog needs to spend some more time at the dog park, but that is the reason. And one of the ways to resolve it is to put the dog on the leash, take him for a walk around, then take him back off the leash again. Do that a few times so he doesn't necessarily, the leash being put on, and he doesn't associate that with always being taken home. Little by little, he'll get the idea, and I think that's the best resolution.
So put him on the leash occasionally at the dog park, but don't take him out.
Yeah, in other words, when he's running around, put the leash on him and then take it off. And then he's running around, go put it back on him. Because right now,
that's useful.
Right now, when you put the leash on him, he knows you're taking him home. He still wants to play with his buds.
Yeah, and I see anchor dogs who once they get the leash on, they just sit down and like, you're gonna pull me out here in front of all these people?
Listen, it's like taking your kids. It's like taking your kids away from something they really, really enjoy. They have no problem leaving school. The dogs, if the dogs are being trained, and their guardians call them, there's no problem. But if they're playing, it's a whole different ballgame. That's how smart they are.
No. Yeah, I know people who have really good recall training. There's one guy who his dog was run over, and he's really adamant about recall training is important. But other dogs don't.
You know what, David? Can you hold on for a bit?
Sure.
Let me put David on hold. Let me take a break. And when we come back, David, I want to respond to you a little bit further in terms of what you're asking about in terms of the recall, because I think that's important. Frida will get to your calls as well. Have a couple of open lines, pretty unusual. I got Arthur Gold to give away. I got Lucy Pet Food to give away. I got T-shirts to give away, the brand new ones, all natural flea spray. I have some great products from my friends over at Nature Vet for allergies and lots of super stuff. So great time to give me a call. If you have a question or a comment or just want to answer my question, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Quick break, then right back to your calls. Listen. And we are back on the Pet Show, 866-870-5752, 866-870-KRLA. We were talking to my friend David in Irving. David, you still with me?
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, so here's the bottom line. Recall is one of the most important things that any pet guardian can teach their dog. However, very often what people do is they use the recall as a corrective approach. What did you do? Get over here. Come over here. You did that wrong. And when the dog comes, the dog gets corrected. Well, I would be the same way with my parents and my teachers if they called me and I was constantly being corrected. So first of all, whenever you use the recall and the dog's name, it always has to be very, very positive. The other concern that I have is almost every trainer out there and every behaviorist out there, when they're teaching the dog to come, what they do is they put the dog in a sit-stay, go to the end of the leash, and call the dog to them. Then they'll go to a longer leash and a longer leash. I can't think of a time when my dog is in a still position that I'm calling him. So it's getting the dog to come when they're chasing other dogs, they're running around, getting the dog to come from motion. Very easy to do, but a lot of people just don't realize the importance of it. As a matter of fact, I just actually posted on my YouTube channel a video that I did quite a while ago at the Sedona Humane Society, where I took a rescue dog that I'd never met before, no leash, no collar, and taught that dog to respond to come just by playing with them and making it fun. So it's real important that the come command or the recall command is always positive, and it's the same thing when people go to the park, get their leash, the dog knows he's going home. So that's what you need to do. David, I got to move on, but I think I'm going to send you a copy of my book. How's that?
No, I have one, sir.
Okay, so
no gift, please.
No. Oh, so what I will donate, I'll donate a gift. Let me ask you a question. Do you have conversations with your pets?
Of course.
I mean, literally conversations. What's going on in the world, politics, religion, all that.
I mean, I'm explaining to him. I'm explaining to him and her, the cat, what we're doing, and it's not heavy politics. It's not international law, but yeah, we talk.
That's good. That's what a relationship's all about. Anyway, listen, I'm gonna let you go. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna donate a gift to a local rescue or humane society, and I appreciate that phone call. I hope that answered your question in terms of the recall. Hey, veterinarians, I want everyone to listen up right now. I was not aware of this. Now, you'd think I would be. Veterinarians warn pet guardians about unsuspecting danger that could be lurking in their yard. So listen up. People with artificial turf are being advised to be extra careful when taking their cats and dogs outdoors, since the superheated surface can burn paw pads. If you have artificial grass in your garden, this will heat up very quickly if under direct sunlight, and so should be treated with the same caution as walking on hot pavement. Natural grass stays much cooler than surf. One of the major concerns with artificial turf for dogs is its tendency to retain heat, especially in hot climates or during the summer. The rubber backing and infill materials used in some types of artificial turf can absorb and radiate heat, making it uncomfortable and potentially hazardous for our dogs and cats. Pet guardians need to choose high quality. You don't have to get away from it, but you need to choose high quality artificial turf with heat resistant materials. And put it in a shady. Who knew? I didn't know that there's a real expensive or a quality turf with heat-resistant materials. Interesting subject. I hope everyone takes heed. And if you have friends that have artificial turf in their backyard, feel free to please share that information with them. Hey, the number here, 866-870-KRLA. Let's go. Oh, great calls coming in. Let's go to Frida in Long Branch. Hey, Frida, welcome to the show. Hello, Frida. Frida, where'd you go, Frida? Frida disappeared on me. All right, Frida. Sorry, Frida. So, instead of Frida, we are going to go to... Let's go. I got two great calls coming in. Let me go to Kelly in Tarzana. Hey, Kelly, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi.
How you doing?
Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing super. What's up?
I'm having a hard time hearing you all of a sudden.
Well, I'll talk louder. How's that? What's up?
Okay. So we have two dogs, a golden who's 4.5, and then we rescued a lab who's 1.5 years old. And we've had him for about 5.5 months. And he just basically goes after everything he can grab, he gets at. And climbs on top of dining room tables, kitchen tables, anything that he can get up high on, that's where you'll find him.
Well, let me ask you a question. What type of education has this dog received?
You know from what we know, is a family had dropped him at the pound, and then he was with the rescue for 2 weeks in a foster home.
Okay, so here we go. One of the major reasons why dogs are taken to a shelter is because the people prior to you didn't have the patience, the time, or the care, or the love to teach the dog right from wrong. So therefore, the dog was probably behaving in their home the same way he's behaving in yours, and rather than resolve the issue, they take him over to a shelter and put him in the shelter or the rescue where he's not being trained either. I mean, some rescues train, but he's only there for 2 weeks. Then he comes into your home. And so I'm so glad you called, because the scenario is horrible, because very often these are the type of dogs that wind up from one home to another home to another home, then back at a shelter. This is not a difficult problem to resolve. What you need to do is really focus on some good basic training with the dog. Doesn't make any difference how old they are. Right now, your dog probably received more attention previously from people that were yelling at him or telling him, don't do this, don't do that, and probably never had the opportunity to kind of work out his puppiness. I'm going to definitely recommend you do some good solid basic training, and when the dog is misbehaving in the house, what you do is don't overly focus on no. What I want you to do is, at that point, the leash, the harness comes out, 5 minutes of training, and then you take it off and the dog goes back. If he starts misbehaving again, it goes back on. I can guarantee you, this is one of the most common things I deal with. I can guarantee you, if you follow the advice I just gave you, and I'm going to send you a copy of the book, but if you follow the advice I just gave you, that this dog's going to turn out to be absolutely amazing. My heart breaks for this dog. My heart breaks for a dog that people had for a period of time, and they gave away, but they gave the dog away, and not because it was a bad dog, but they didn't have the time or the inclination to educate the dog, and that's where the problems occur. And that's what drives me crazy. I don't want to get off a tangent here. When I go to shelters across the country for so many years, and I see incredible dogs there, amazing dogs that would be perfect for anyone, except that they never had the opportunity early on to be educated or trained. So I don't see this as a major behavior issue. I want you to have a lot of patience, because the dog's been doing it for a while.
He's wonderful otherwise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just a matter of educating. It's just like the parents who ignore a child's behavior. Sooner or later, that behavior becomes a habit. And I think we're dealing with that at this point. But now, if he starts getting more attention when he's being good, because he's getting, what a good boy, I told you, when you're training, they're getting a lot of positives. It builds up the confidence, make all the difference in the world. So let me do this. What I'm going to do, Kelly, first of all, bless you for doing this. I want you to keep in touch with me, so keep calling. But I'm going to put you on hold in the meantime. The lovely Suzette's going to pick up, and I'm going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. Now, here's the scenario. We send the books out, but they take a while to get there. So in the interim, I do recommend you check out some of my videos on the YouTube channel. I just posted some this week, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Everything on my YouTube channel is free. You can subscribe. That's even free. So check that, or go to the website. There's some great articles there until the book actually arrives at your home. But I'm telling you, this is the thing that brings tears to my eyes. I don't often talk about it, but over the years, I've spent literally more hours than I can imagine rescuing dogs at shelters all across the United States. And what really drives me crazy is when you see a 5-month-old or a 6-month-old or a 7-month-old dog that's being brought to the shelter by people that had him beforehand, that never took the time to socialize or educate. Now the dog's 5 months. He goes to a shelter, but he's still adorable. He's adopted out, but the new people that adopted him find out he has all these issues because they were never resolved. Then they bring him back to the shelter, and I don't have to tell you the rest of the story. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Still coming up on today's show, we got some great topics. We're going to talk about whether ignoring your dog's behavior is the right way to go. But I found this survey really interesting. I'll share it with you in a few minutes. I got to take a break. Pet Guardian Survey reports that people suffer more from being separated from their pets than their pets do from being separated from the people. We're going to talk about that, answer all of your questions. Lots of great stuff to give away. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got Frida, we got Vera, we got Richard. We'll get to all your calls right after this. Listen. What the world needs now is a couple of Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mice. We're back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Great time to call me. The phone number 866-870-KRLA. 866-870-5752. Leaving their pets alone at home is a significant source of stress for pet guardians out there. 44% say they worry. When leaving for work, 48% said their pets follow them to the door and look very, very sad. 33% said their pets whine. 22% said their pets seem anxious and pace around. Why? 41% of pet guardians now arrange for a friend or family member to check on them, and more than 45% of pet guardians now have cameras in their home to check on their dogs and cats when they're away. I do. How about you? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870. Alex said the same. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. 866-870-5752. Great time to call me. I still got hugs and Lucy Pet Food to give away, Author Suit Gold, copies of my books, hemp seed oil, Lucy Pet Food T-shirts, some all-natural flea spray. And I got to tell you, El Nino's around the corner, guys. You're going to need that flea spray. I got a lot of those air horns to give away, too. So if you have a question or a comment, great time to call me, 866-870-KRLA. Let's get back to the phone right now. Oh, gosh. Let's go to Vera. Hey, Vera in Lawndale. Hey, Vera, welcome to the show.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hi. Innocent says thanks for the lickies. She loves them.
I'm glad to hear that.
My Shih Tzu was put down July 17th.
I'm so sorry.
17 years. My baby's in heaven.
Yeah.
That artificial turf, it was signed in that it gives off a toxic cancer. What do you call it? Fumes when it gets hot?
Yeah, I don't know about the toxicity of it. I just know from the veterinarians are reporting basically on the burning.
This was signed in by Governor Newsom as a toxic chemical thing.
Interesting.
Look it up. I don't know how you look it up.
I will look it up. I promise, Vera.
Yeah, that I bought a tricycle. I'm the one that lives in her van, but I bought an electric tricycle. And it has a area in the back where I can put a kitty cage, but I can't find a 16 by 12 inch kitty cage, or the one I have is too big for that back part. I was wondering, did you know anybody that makes things like that for animals?
I don't. I don't. To be honest, you know what I would do if I were you? I try to go online somewhere and look out kitty carriers for bicycles or cat carriers for bicycles. I'm sure there are companies out there that I'm not a big fan of animals on bicycles because it's usually the owners that fall down.
This is a service thing. It was made and designed for people that deliver food.
Oh, so it's three. So Vera, it's 3 wheels.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So yeah, that's what I would do. Go to Amazon.com or Google it. You're going to need to find cat carriers made specifically for bicycles, and I'm sure you'll find exactly what you're needing.
Yeah, because I have cat carriers, but a cage where she can see everything for the purpose of being outside. Well, there you go. I've been on all those songs.
Vera, I got to move on, but thanks. Also, I remember years ago, someone actually came out with what's the word I'm looking for? It was a clear carrier that you can put on the back of your bike for a dog or cat. So if you check it out, research it, I'm sure you can come up with something. It will be there. And again, I'm not a big fan of that. And I see it all the time. You guys know I live in Santa Monica, and I go to the beach and run on the beach or walk down there. And a lot of people have their dogs on the bicycle, and the dogs in the back or the dogs in the front, and their music's blasting. They're focusing on what they're doing. They're not focusing on the dog. They fall down. Another dog sees their. I'm not a big fan of that. I mean, if you live on your own piece of property or you live somewhere where it's really secluded and you want to take a ride, that's different, but not on the major beaches, so definitely not on the roads. Hey, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to get back to Richard and Natalie. Richard got a great call, by the way. A dog that used to listen that's not listening anymore, and so does Natalie. Great time to call me. We got a whole other hour to go. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866 866-870 KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, if you happen to be a regular listener to the Pet Show, you know by now, after talking to you guys for 43 years, for who knows how it's 43, 44, 42, who knows? It's been so many years. But the bottom line is, the passion that I have for your animals is so important to me. And that's one of the reasons years ago I developed my own Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats. The reason I did it is I invented it for my own dogs, working with the top veterinarians, the top nutritionists from around the country. So if you are tired of your dog or cat shedding, if that constant licking, and scratching is not only making your dog crazy, but making you crazy, the product you need for your dog or cat is my own, name and face on every jar, my own 4-in-1 Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats. It is so rich in antioxidants that my Hugs and Kisses can actually rebuild the total And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Hey, we got plenty of time. We got a whole hour to go. The question of the day here, does your dog or cat have your personality? Still coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about the color of your cat. This is an interesting report. It even caught me off by guard. The color of your cat, is it linked to your cat's behavior? Yes or no? An interesting study. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later. Also coming up, we're going to talk about whether or not the right thing to do if your dog or cat is doing something wrong and you want to resolve it, is it best to ignore that behavior? When I was studying in Europe, there were many behaviorists that I worked with that would actually say, yeah, if you ignore the behavior will gradually dissipate. And after speaking to them and after working with as many thousands of animals as I've worked with, I don't necessarily agree with that. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Is in fact ignoring your dog's behavior or your cat's behavior, is it the right way to approach it? I don't think it is. Also coming up on today's show, we'll have plenty of time. I'm going to not rush to you right now, Richard and Natalie. You'll be my first two calls when we come back after a quick break at the top of the hour. You know me, I hate to rush people. I want to spend as much time as I possibly can with you. By the way, it's kind of interesting that when we were talking about the cat colors, that they really say that the color of your cat can actually make a difference in terms of their behavior. So we're going to talk about that. Not only are we going to talk about that coming up, they say that most cats don't like water. I'm going to toss a question at you guys. Most cats don't like water. I don't necessarily buy it, but there are two specific breeds of cats that are known to really love water. Can anyone name those two breeds of cats that love water? Give me a call next hour. It was a great gift coming for you. As always, plenty of time to answer your pet's questions and lots of great stuff to give away. So we'll talk about that coming up. Also, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence, pet custody. I was just called this week from a listener not a listener, but someone that knew of me in Oxnard, and they were going through a pretty horrible divorce. And they asked me if I would be able to come in as a professional witness, which I've done in the past, but being in the media for as many years as I have, it's not really the right thing to do. So I advised her to go in a different direction. But it's amazing how often divorce cases take place. And what I found over the years, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'd love to hear from some of my divorced people out there, is not that both parties want the dog or the cat, but one of the parties is so mean and so hateful, they want the dog or cat just so the other person can't have it. I'd love to hear from you on that as well, or any other questions or comments you have. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. A quick break, then right back to all of your phone calls on Warren Eckstein. And yes, you are listening to The Pet Show. And if you love animals, you have come to the right place. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, America's first and only real pet psychology, training, behavior, lifestyle show. If you have a question or comment about your dogs or cats, want to learn how to resolve any issues they're jumping, humping, digging, scratching, not using the litter box. You got a new dog and the old dog doesn't get along. You have a new cat and the cat doesn't get along. You got a new you get the idea. That's what we do here on the show. We help people resolve issues, whatever that issue may be, with their dog or cat. You can't take your dog for a walk because he turns into Cujo when he bumps into someone on the street. Have a question or comment, great time to give me a call. By the way, if you happen to be new to the Pet Show, let me just remind everyone that everyone that calls into the show and gets to talk to me live will get a great gift for their dog or cat. Now, people always say, Warren, why do you do this? Is it important? Not too many shows do that. Well, I'm a different type of show. That's why I've been talking to you guys for 43 some odd years. The reason I give away these gifts is very often the item I'm giving away is part of the resolution for the problem that you may be having with your dog or your cat. So lots of, for example, just last week, I got a thank you letter from this week from someone I had sent a product to. They had a dog that was just scooting its butt and they were embarrassed by it. The vet said everything was fine. It became a little bit of a thing. So we gave them some of that no scoot soft chews by my friends at Nature Vet. And you know what? Resolve the problem right away. So that's why I say many of the items I give away, it's not just trivial items. A lot of the items can be as much as $40, $50, but we give them away for a reason to help resolve the issue that you may be calling about. So everyone that calls in and gets to talk to me live will get a gift for their dog or cat. I got a lot of those air horns to give away. I gave away some of those air horns last week on my national show, and I got a text this week from a listener who said, I was walking my dog. I came across some coyotes. I blew the horn. The coyotes took off, and I was able to finish my walk safely with my dog. So we got some air horns to give away. Plenty of time for your calls. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. That is to the way to get through. Now, before I get to you, Richard, then I'm going to get to you, Natalie. There was an interesting study done. And the study says it was all done about the emotional intelligence of dogs, something I've been studying for my entire life. And there's big argument going on in terms of emotions. Do dogs really have emotions? Part of the study I did in Europe, and believe me, I work with none of them around me, but they were all older than me, but some of the most incredible behaviorists in the world. Some of them I agreed with, most of them I disagreed with, but even when you disagree with them, you can learn from them, and I did. And what I found out, and what I believe in, what I talked about, and the reason they thought I was nuts is because I said, I believe that dogs can demonstrate behaviors like tolerance, forgiveness, fairness, selflessness, and altruism. So give me a break here. I'd love to hear from you guys. Do you think that I may be a little eccentric? And I know I am. But do you think I may be too eccentric when it comes to describing the fact that I believe that dogs have emotional intelligence just like people and understand they can feel tolerance, forgiveness, fairness, selflessness, and altruism? I'd love to hear from you guys. Give me a call. If you get through, I will send a great gift for your dog or cat. Again, that number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. It never ceases to amaze me why human beings have this incredible ego that we're so much better. We're the only ones that can have emotions. We're the only ones that can have the intelligence. And I got to tell you, I spent a lot of time with animals in my life, and some of them are a lot more emotional and a lot more intelligent than many of those that walk upright I've spent my time with as well. 866-870-5752. Got a question or a comment? Want to share a story about your dog or cat? Great time to give me a call. But right now, let me take a phone call here. Let's go to Richard in Santa Clarita. Hey, Richard, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren.
How you doing, Richard?
I'm well, thank you. We have a 2.5-year-old border collie, and who was trained as a puppy, and we've had him since he was 8 weeks old, and he was terrific. And he gets a lot of cuddling, nurturing at the house, and my wife will cuddle him and baby him. And it seems like I've lost control of him, like obedience. His obedience is misdirected as far as he looks at other things. Maybe go sniff the plants or go chase rabbits when I call him. Difficulty to get him back into the house when I call him. I use the word. He has a go word, which is keys. And when I mention that, he'll come. That's his go word. But I don't want to keep using his go word. So,
well, Richard, I don't want you to feel bad, but in response, I just got to tell you, your dog may be a little brighter than you. But here's the reason I bring that up, Richard. First of all, Border Collies are an amazing breed of dog, but people often think that when they train their puppy or they train their dog when it's younger, that's all they have to do. That the dog's dog's going to retain its training throughout its entire life. I can't tell you anything about algebra, calculus, English literature, or Shakespeare. All stuff I studied, all stuff I should know. But the bottom line is, having not used it for so many years, you tend to forget it. So one of the things I'm an advocate of is there's no such thing as I have a trained dog. Doesn't exist. No one has a trained dog. They have a dog that may know what you want it to do, but the bottom line is if you really want a well-behaved, educated dog that enjoys life, the training process, the learning process, the education process never stops, just like with people. So with a Border Collie, by the way, which is one of those breeds that's incredibly bright, maybe the dog is just suffering from a little boredom. Richard, maybe you should teach him some new things besides going back and reinforcing the basic behaviors he knew when he was younger. Maybe now's the time to introduce some nurture. Maybe you should do some nose work with the dog. Maybe some herding work with the dog. Maybe you should make your backyard into a little agility place for the dog to hang out with. So the bottom line is when the dog is not listening to you, it's not like he's sticking his tongue out and saying, nah, Richard, I don't have to listen to you. That's not why he's doing it. What he needs to do, or what you need to do at this point in a very positive, upbeat way, is go back to basics, reinforce those, and then to keep that stimulation there is go a little bit further with some advanced training if necessary, or just making your backyard more interesting. For example, in my backyard right now, and I don't have Border Collies, but there's a tether ball, there's all kinds of things that they can play with. They have their own little kiddie pool to dig in and their own little sandbox. Those are all things that can make the difference. But also, with a Border Collie, it's a whole different ball game. As I said, they are so bright. They have so much energy that if you don't get the energy out of them in a positive way, they will figure out a way to get it out in a negative way. And it sounds to me like when you call your dog and he doesn't come to you, it's like the dog is almost saying, yeah, I used to know that, but what's the big deal? Make it positive, make it fun, and just make sure that you continue the training. There's no such thing as the training is ended, just like there's no such thing as education is ended. We constantly learn the same thing, especially with a breed like a Border Collie.
So set him up. He has the toys. He has.
The toys are great. The toys are great. All of that stuff is amazing. But what you need to be right now is you need to be that educator for your dog. You need to be that teacher that makes everything fun, but also you need to be consistent. Because the Border Collie, you could do it 9 times right. If you blow it the 10th time, this Border Collie is going to stick his tongue out and say, I don't have to listen to you. So the continuity is really critical at this point. Go back to the basics, because now the dog is once again hearing, good boy, what a good boy, thank you. Those are the important things in terms of gaining the dog back. So this isn't that the dog is saying, I don't want to learn. This is the dog just being frustrated because he has so much intelligence and it's not being used. That's why often, if you think about human beings, often kids that get in trouble in school are often the very bright kids in school. They just don't have it focused in the right direction. Did that help you out a bit there?
Yes, you did. Okay. Make a lot of sense.
Richard, don't go anywhere. What's your dog's name?
Bailey.
And what made you decide on a Border Collie?
Well, we had Akitas before.
A whole different breed of dog. A whole different breed of dog.
Oh, yes. Yes. And so we wanted something that we could travel with. And so he's a great traveler.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big
motorhome.
I'm a big fan of Akitas too. But years ago, the Akitas were really there was a place in New York City. I helped kind of put it out. There was a place in New York City where Akitas became really, really popular. I guess it was in the late 70s, early 80s, and there was actually a retail store. I think it was on Madison Avenue in New York City. Akitas of Distinction, I think it was called, where for like $2,000 or whatever you had to pay at that time, people were going and buy these Akitas, and I was seeing Akitas coming out with all types of hip dysplasia and problems. They were being 10 months old. Just a horrible thing, but great breed of dog if they're brought up properly. So anyway, Richard, don't go in there. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm sending you a copy of How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want, and I really do appreciate that call. Natalie, don't go anywhere. I will get to your call, I promise. Do have a couple of open lines. Great time to give me a call. I do have some Lucy pet food to give away. I got some more books to give away and some all-natural flea spray, as well as some of Nature Vet's No Scoot products as well. So great time to give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through to the show. Now, the question of the day was kind of interesting. Whether or not your dog or cat have your personality. And that's just part of the question. But the other part of the question is kind of, do you spend time actually having conversations with your pets? I'm a firm believer that the more time you spend talking to your dogs and cats, ultimately, the more they're going to understand. So I'd love to hear from you guys as well. Am I the only one, or do you spend time having conversations with your pets? Give me a call. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. And if you get through, I will send a great gift to you. Still coming up, by the way, does ignoring your dog's behavior help resolve the issue? We're going to talk about that. And again, I just talked about this. People say that dogs, cats as well, but dogs don't have emotions. This new study said that dogs don't have emotions. They can't deal. They don't understand tolerance. They don't understand forgiveness. They don't understand fairness, selflessness, or altruism. Give you an example. Just the other day, I'm walking down the stairs and I accidentally bumped into Molly. Molly's a very sensitive dog, and she looked at me and she was a little fearful. And Molly's been with me for 4 years, so she was a little fearful because she was very much abused when I first got her. And I said, "Oh, Molly, I'm so sorry. I apologize. You know, Daddy loves you. I didn't mean anything by it." And I sat down and gave her a hug and a kiss, and things were okay at that point. So, again, that's part of the question to you is do dogs understand? Do dogs and cats, for that matter, do you believe they have emotions? A lot of people say they don't have emotions, but those are people that just have no comprehension of how to understand their dogs or cats. Great time to give me a call. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. I'd love to hear from you guys in terms of, do you think your dogs and cats will be a little distressed because it's daylight savings time? You'll be sleeping an hour later, taking them out an hour later in the morning, feeding them an hour later in the morning. I may have to move to Arizona just so I don't have to deal with daylight saving times. What do you guys think? Do your dogs know it? Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. I think I should take a break now before my engineer, Alex, goes a little nuts. So let me take a break, and then we'll get right back to your phone calls. Here's the deal. Every week, you hear me talk about Lucy. And we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Great time to give me a call. Have a question or comment about your dog or cat? Just want to share a great story. I'd love to hear from some people that adopted some older dogs and cats today, because I had some calls this week that people were concerned about whether they should adopt an older dog. And of course, I said, obviously you should. So I'd like to hear from some people that may have adopted older dogs or cats as well. Give me a call. If you get through, I will send you something nice for your older dog or cat. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. We're going to get right to you, Bruce. We'll get to you, Ann, as well, and so more. You know, I often get the question, Warren, why do dogs enjoy water and cats hate it? So if you see me reading, I'm reading on YouTube. These are all things I posted on YouTube. So these are my sheets from YouTube. So if you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Subscribe. It's free. There's great stuff I put up there 3-4 times a week. But let me just share this with you. Most cats don't like water. Why? Because they had no reason to be around water. Cats are descendants of desert-dwelling animals who hunted land-based animals such as mice and birds. Most of the cat's water intake came from the food they ate, not from drinking water. Cats also do not need to clean themselves in water, as they groom themselves to remove dirt, debris, and food residue. However, no guys came up with it. I wish you would have. I would have sent you a great gift. Not all cats dislike water. A lot of regular cats like water, but there are two specific breeds of cats that are known to love water. They really love water. One is one of my favorite breeds, is the Turkish van cat. If you've never seen one, you can Google it. A great cat, and they really love water. And the Bengal, another cat that loves water as well. But there are many different cats that love water. But again, it's interesting that because they did descend how many millions of years ago from desert-type animals, that their love for water is not the same, perhaps, as dogs and other animals. Kind of an interesting study. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Let's go to Bruce in Culver City. Hey, Bruce, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi, Warren. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Not bad, not bad. I take care of 4 feral cats at my office.
Well, bless you for doing that.
I'm curious if you know what I can do here. After 3 years, I guess it's 4 years now, I've been able to pet and even pick up one of the cats. But one of the 4 cats does not want to be touched at all. And I'm curious, is there a way to entice the cat to do it, or just leave it alone?
There's a couple of things you might want to try. Number one, how many times a day do you feed these cats?
Twice.
Okay. Do you have the opportunity? Can you feed them smaller amounts more frequently throughout the day?
I can barely get away with doing this.
Yeah, because the reason I say that, a lot of people don't understand. They don't feed their cats often enough. A lot of people feed their cats enough food, but they don't feed the cats often enough. Cats have a very small stomach, and they should be fed maybe 3 or even 4 times a day. And as with anything else, the more frequent the cat sees you bringing food, the more apt she's going to be to get closer to you. So here's one of the things I would try. Number one, what I would try to do is take an unwashed T-shirt of yours, put it underneath the dishes before you feed them. You might not get the T-shirt back.
You said a warm what?
An unwashed T-shirt. Something with your scent on it. So if we can get an unwashed T-shirt and we can get it in the area where the cats are, and that's the only time that's there is when the food goes on it, I think that would be beneficial, because cats really respect or react to people via their nose as well. So that's number one. Number two is, what I would also recommend is, when you go out to see this cat, what's the cat's reaction? Does she run away? Does she hang out? Just stare at you but won't come to you?
No, she would jump and run away.
Okay. The minute she, even though the other cats are fine with you.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, she'll get really close, and she'll see me petting them, and they'll be, waiting for me to get the food from the storage bin.
Okay, so here's what Here's what I'm thinking. I think at this point, number one, the article of clothing, like the T-shirt's critical. Number two, even if you can't feed them more often, if you can just get away and give them a kitty licky or something, give them a treat, the more she associates you with positive. See, right now, you're just a guy that feeds them. Anybody can feed them. You're just a guy that feeds them and talks to them and likes them. What I want to do is I want to make that bond between you and that other cat a little bit stronger. So I want that bond to be more than based on just the fact that you drop off food twice a day. That's where the scent comes into play. In extreme cases, what I've done is I've actually used a radio, a battery-operated radio, so it was around the food area when you fed them, so they were hearing human voices without being affected by humans, therefore understanding that voices were not always threatening. So these are some of the things that I would try at this point. Ultimately, there are certain cats that make it difficult, but I've always been able to get a cat, if not to be the Morris of the world, who, by the way, I got to work with Morris for many years. Not Morris, but at least we can get the cat to the point where she feels more comfortable around you. Whether she's ever going to be your bosom buddy and want you to hold her, I can't guarantee that. But little by little, I would gain the confidence. Try giving her some treats, during the day. If you can just get out for a second or two, I think that is all going to benefit, and especially that clothing with your scent on it. How's that sound, Bruce?
I can definitely try that.
Okay, and the other thing is, why do you do this?
Well, they had babies, and we gave away a lot of the kittens, and so now I'm attached to them.
Sure.
And
are they all spayed? Are they all spayed and neutered?
Yeah. Roberta, she's like great. It's a feral cat highway.
Yeah.
And when I say a highway, it's just the property is. So I've been trapping for now 4 years, and but these 4 they stayed because they had the kids here.
So in other words, let me ask you a question: where you work or where you are right now, if you were to leave that job, what would happen to these 4 cats?
That's why I don't know. I probably would be able to get the little blue azul, 4th Stella. She's kind of a wild one. She catches rats. She could probably survive. Larry and Camille, the one I'm talking about, my boss wants her. That's the thing, but I don't know if I wanted to get her, I'd have to trap her.
Yeah, well, that may be what you have to do. That may be what you have to do. That, if heaven forbid you ever decide to leave where you are, that's something you have to be. Because one of the things that devastates me more is that I've been in situations where people with good hearts were able to take care of feral colonies, but all of a sudden their place of work closed up, or now everyone's working from home. So these feral cat colonies, in some cases, that were being cared for are not being cared for properly. And who suffers? Of course, it's always the cats that are going to suffer. So first of all, I want to thank you and bless you for what you do. I think it's an incredible, people that work with feral cats are amazing. I've rescued hundreds myself, and it's just one of the greatest things you can do is when you take a feral cat and all of a sudden you find out that you can convert that feral cat into a cat that really understands people. It takes time and patience, but I think once these cats were taken out, if the time comes, once they're taken out of the wild and brought into a home, if you follow the advice I often give about making the indoors outdoor interesting, save a lot of cats. Anyway, let me do this, Bruce. Let me move on. Can I send you a copy of my book?
Oh, awesome. That would be awesome. Dude.
No, you're awesome, Bruce. Anyone...
I like to learn about it.
Yeah, and first of all, now you live in one of my favorite... I live in Santa Monica, so Culver City's my new hangout. You know that.
Oh, right, man. It's very friendly.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. It's amazing. The only problem with Culver City is once you go one way on one street, you got to go 50 miles to come around the other way. It's the only problem I've found so far. Anyway, listen, Bruce, don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold. The lovely, lovely Suzette's going to pick up, and we're going to send you a copy of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want. Great time to give me a call. We're going to get to Ann. We're going to get to Denise. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Plenty of time for your calls. Lots of great stuff to give away. Coming up, we're going to take a look at whether or not ignoring your dog's bad behavior is the way to resolve it. Is that true? And if we have time, I wanted to do this last week, but I ran out of time. A lot of questions come into the pet show specifically about, I have a puppy and when he gets excited, he pees. Or I have an older dog, when he gets excited, he pees. Is there a difference between a puppy peeing and an older dog peeing? What's the cause? Is it normal when they get excited? We're going to talk about that if we have time. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA. By the way, if I don't have time to get to that, it is up. I just posted it yesterday. It's up on my YouTube channel about excitement urination and submissive urination. Check it out at youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Quick break, then right back to all of your phone calls. Listen. Ah, the best old hound dog. All right, attorneys for dogs. It's about time. A bill filed in where was this? In New Jersey, would give judges the option to appoint a trained courtroom animal advocate in the cases of animal abuse and neglect. I think this is a fabulous idea. Those volunteer attorneys could aid, in fact, make recommendations to the court and attend hearings. It's kind of similar to the Guardian program for children. I think it's a great idea that lawyers can be advocates in situations that talk about animal abuse and neglect. Great idea. I'm 100% for it. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-KRLA. That is the way to get through. Let me go first to Anna, then we'll go to Denise, then Mary. Anna in Sylmar. Hi, Anna. Welcome to the show.
Hi. I just want to, when I listen to your show and I hear callers sharing their, little problems with their pets. I had hybrid wolves for years, since '88. An ex-boyfriend of mine had the idea. I don't recommend people don't go getting wolves or nothing. It's unless you have a big family, they need a lot of companionship, and I can't stand when people get animals and then they leave them home all day alone, so they have to be at least two, not by themselves. But when I call, the wolves are very independent. They come if they want to, but if you want to excite them, you just go, you speak, you don't have to speak English or Spanish, or you just express your passion, your love for them, and you hit your leg and you just speak any gibberish, and they get excited. That's
Anna, I had the opportunity of spending time with a pack of wolves working with the University of Frankfurt in Germany, and wolves are absolutely amazing animals. However, let me just state right off the bat, I don't believe that any individual should have a wolf as a pet or a wolf hybrid as a pet. Not that they're not animals, not wonderful, but people should just not have them as pets.
Right.
I believe that 100%. However, what you said is...
I just want to say that I only did it like when I was inexperienced. This is '88, and I was ignorant. I spay and neuter a little bit after I got my first wolfie with my boyfriend. And I tell everybody, don't do it, because it's a major commitment. Of course, there's always a commitment with any pet, but the wolves you have to make sure they don't, because they can dig on the fences and jump 6 feet up.
Not only dig on the fences, wolves have this amazing ability to communicate with each other, number one. Wolves have this amazing ability to be a lot smarter than the people that they live with. That instinctive behavior is absolutely incredible. But then again, people assume that wolves are aggressive animals, and the pack that I was working with, they were just real, But again, in the wild, it's a different ball game. They have to survive as well. But what a great call, by the way, Anna. I really appreciate that, because we were able to stress to the point that a lot of people, you can see even ads in the paper, hybrid wolves. No. Go to a shelter and adopt a dog or a cat. Leave the wolves alone. There shouldn't be any hybrid wolves anyway. So what kind of pets do you have now, Ann?
So I only have one kitty girl left. My last wolf hybrid died, because I had 4. Died 2 years ago. Full lifespan, all my wolfies. And then my Pixie, my kitty cat, she passed away at home. And so I've been brokenhearted. But my last one developed a growth in the in the nostril. And so I took it to the vet, and I spent $1,260, and they said it was the teeth. So she was misdiagnosed. I spent all that money, and now I need to go to a specialist, which I'm not going to be able to afford. So I'm thinking it's going to be, euthanasia time. And
before you think that way, contact the specialist. See if you can work out a payment plan with them. Don't give up so easily.
Do that
try to work out something. In the meantime, I got to move on, but let me put you on hold.
Thank you, darling.
Oh, no, thank you. Don't go. I'm going to send you some hugs and kisses for your cat. Hugs and kisses for your cat on its way, and I appreciate that phone call. We're going to definitely get to you, Mary, but right now, by the way, I do have an open line now. Great time to call me, 866-870-5752. Let me do this. Let me go to Denise. Hey, Denise, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren.
I'm reading.
Can you hear me?
I hear you fine. I'm reading your call. Now, your call's a little bit above my pay grade. You're talking about a dog that has megaesophagus, which is basically a condition where the pet's esophagus or food tube is beyond its normal capacity, and it limits the food getting into the. So that's a conversation you really need to have with your veterinarian. I can explain to you what it is, but it's something you need to have with your veterinarian.
No, yeah, we're working closely with our vet, but I'm a volunteer with the rescue group, and my foster, you were asking about, all my fosters either are seniors or, and I have a chorus in the background here, seniors or with different conditions. And many years ago, one of your, you met one of my other PDs who has another condition. His brain didn't develop right. I'm drawing a blank, but yeah, no, I know that it's his medical condition, but it's always nice to reach out to resources and share people's stories because he's a really great dog.
I'm so glad you're involved, and I'm so glad you have that. You're working with the vet so closely. There are things that can be done, but again, it's a little bit above my pay grade. But there are some amazing things that are being done in the veterinary field nowadays that can help you. So, do you just have the one rescue dog at this point?
Oh, I wish I could say I only have one rescue dog. Let's say I have definitely more than one.
I know what more. Listen, I know when I speak to my rescue people, more than one means many more than one. And Denise, I got to move on, but I'm going to put you on hold, and because you have so many dogs and you're such an incredible lady, I'm going to send you some Lucy dog food for your dogs. Great call, by the way. The phone number 866-870-KRLA. When we take a break, when we come back, we have Mary in Pasadena. We have, you know what? Yeah, it's fine. Alex, tell Suzette it's fine that Anna gets the flea spray. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me bring this up and see what you guys think. I got to take a break, then I'll come back to all your phone calls. Does ignoring your dog's bad behavior work? Your dog demands your attention by barking or jumping up on you. You might have seen the training advice to ignore these unwanted behaviors. This is well-intended but incomplete advice. Take it from me. Here's my advice. If you only ignore the behavior, your dog will probably never learn to stop barking, jumping, or pulling. Just ignoring unwanted dog behavior misses an important piece. What's that important piece? Teaching your dog what you want him to do instead. Not ignoring, but teaching him what you want him to do instead makes all the difference in the world. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. A quick break, then right back to your phone calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on the Pet Show. I love that song, and the reason, not that I'm such a big Peter Pan fan, but the bottom line is I coined the word over the years of Peter Pan dogs. Those are those dogs that never grow up. They remain puppies their whole lives. So maybe you have a Peter Pan dog. Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-KRLA. Let's go to Mary in Pasadena. Hey, Mary. Welcome to the Pet Show.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call. I called you a couple of years ago, and I first want to thank you for recommending the best litter in the whole world for my 2 cats. That never smells like ammonia or any urine smell in my house. It's one of the products that you recommend on your show. I don't know if I can say it or not, but it's fabulous.
You can say it. If I recommend it, you can say it.
Yeah, it's Lucy Litter.
There you go. I love that stuff. I get calls all the time from people saying what a great product it is.
Oh, it's fabulous. The only bad part is that the price has dramatically gone up, just like everything else in our world, but that's okay. So here's my question. I have 2 cats, brother and sister. They're impossible to get in a carrier. They will scratch me, go crazy. So I have had a vet come, the mobile vet people that came to my house twice. First time, never worked. They hid under the couch. This time, they just came. I barred everything off so they couldn't do it. And they hissed so horribly. The vet was not able to get anywhere near them. So she prescribed gabapentin for me to give, yet to come up now the 3rd time. But I just want to know, one of my cats, the male, is looking like he's lost weight, and I'm afraid he either has diabetes or he has maybe a thyroid or something like that. What can I do to try to assist the vet to be able to examine my cat?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, I would love you to be able to get the cat into a carrier. And the way to do that would be to get a carrier that opens, a top and a bottom. One that opens, one of those hard plastic carriers. Leave it open. Put a cat's bed in there. Put treats in there. Put food in there. Get the cat real comfortable in that situation. And ultimately, you may be able to get the cat in that carrier. Now, I'm surprised your vet is recommending a tranquilizer. And I would assume that the vet's going to recommend something that's enough to get the cat calm enough where they can come in and do the examination. So I'll give you an example. I have a vet that comes to my house. My vet, Dr. Deb, is just amazing. She comes to my house. At first, my dogs were very skittish. They didn't know her, but now they kind of like, hey, Warren, call the vet. It's time for us to get a checkup, isn't it? So it's real important to, number one, and it sounds to me like you're working with a vet. I'm surprised the vet can give you more advice, but I agree with the vet at this point. Right off the bat, we need to get the cat calmed down enough where at least the vet can do a complete check to find out if there's anything physiologically wrong with the cat, and then at that point you can start working to get the cat more adjusted to the veterinarian. One of the things I advocate in my cat book, is to get the
she
get
wants
cats.
to draw blood, and it's like getting blood from a turnip. But I mean, there's no way that they're going to be able to draw blood on my cats. They're hissing and they're horrible.
And it's not Listen, it's not healthy for the cats. It's not healthy for you, and it's not thrilled for the veterinarian as well. As long as the vet is willing to work with you and give you the right medication to get that cat to the point where they can get the blood test and do all the tests, that's what I would be doing at this point. And then also follow my advice on the carrier aspect as well. Getting a carrier, because everyone who lives in California needs to have. I'm not a big fan of crates, but everyone that lives in California needs a crate or carrier. Heaven forbid there's an earthquake or God knows what else can take place. Right. So the bottom line is getting them used to being in a carrier is not just something that's nice. It's something that is relevant, and everyone should have one, and cats and dogs that are comfortable getting into them.
All right. Thank you so much.
Mary, don't go anywhere. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am going to send you, for your cats, I am also going to send you some of my Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treat for cats. Maybe that will help get them into the cat carrier. But again, as long as you're working with your vet, I'm in Target with him. That's one of the things. A lot of people are changing. A lot of people are starting to have vets that come to the home. It's my vet comes to my house, and I really feel it's much more relaxing for the dog or cat. However, there are times, whether it be surgery involved or the dog or cat being anesthetized, that whatever vet you have coming to the home is affiliated with an animal hospital if surgery has to take place. But more and more people I'm starting to notice are having vets come to the house. It's kind of like when I was growing up as a kid. We never went to the doctor's office. My mother would call Dr. Lilienfeld. That was it. Boy, did I remember that name. There's something from the past hit me. Dr. Lilienfeld would come to the house, give me a shot, tell my parents I'm a pain in the butt, and he would leave, just the way it is. Anyway, I think it's a great idea for vets being able to come to the house. I think in most cases it gives them more of an opportunity, not just to see the pet, but to see the environment where the pet lives, which can often help the vet make some changes. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me take a quick break. When we come back, Eva, I'm going to try to get to you. Mira, I'm going to try to get to you. But write this number down. You all know I do my international show for Radio America and American Forces Radio. It starts exactly when I get off the air here. So write this number down. It's the same type of show. I give away the same type of prizes, but don't start calling till 1 o'clock. The number for that show is 877-725-8255. 877-725-8255. Don't start calling that till 1 o'clock. That's the National Canadian Show. Goes to Washington, D.C. Then it gets boosted out all over the world. So we'll talk to you on that show as well. Let me take a quick break. We come back. Eva, Mira will try to get to your calls. 866-870-KRLA. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show. And we are back on the Pet Show. Let me go to Eva, but just a reminder that if you're hanging out, you didn't get a chance to call me today, write this number down. You can start calling in exactly 6 minutes. This is my National Canadian Show. That phone number, 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. That is the way to get through. Right now, let me see if I can squeeze in a couple of calls here. Let's go to Eva in Los Angeles. Hi, Eva. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren.
How you doing?
Warren.
Yeah, how you doing, Eva? I don't have a whole lot of time. What's up?
Warren, I'm calling to tell you that my cat Brandy loves the rain. She likes to get out when it's raining, getting out. And in the summer, I have to have a swimming pool for her so she can get in. She loves the water. That's what I'm calling you for.
Eva, what kind of cat is it?
Excuse me?
What kind of cat?
A beautiful, beautiful ragdoll cat.
I love ragdoll cats. They're just so beautiful and so amazing and so effective. How did you find out that she just liked the water?
She loves the water. In the rain, and when it's raining, she likes to get out and sit in the rain. In the summer, I have to have a little swimming pool for her to get in.
Have you always had cats?
Yeah.
Gosh, they're just like, it's just like they say the Turkish van, the Bengal. There are many, many cats that like water. They tend to be a little breed-wise, but there are so many different cats that can like water. Great call, by the way. Don't go in there. I'm putting you on hold, and you are getting some Lucy cat food for your cat. I'm not going to have time, Mira. I want to get your call, though, so write this number down. The number I want you to call is 877-725-8255. Call that number starting at 1 o'clock. Be patient with it. It goes to Washington, D.C., to the main thing. All right, here's something I just want to share with you guys. A cat's breed can certainly affect its appearance, but can affect the cat's personality. According to this report, definitely. The color of coat is linked to behavior. For example, tortoiseshell cats, torties, can be independent, and they usually just like one person. Boo. And they can be pushy about what they want. Torties and calicos and Abyssinians all have strong documented links between their coat color and personalities. More anecdotal is the orange tabby, who is the poster child for the most gregarious, but personality really seems to go with coat color. So I was reading this story, and I'm saying to myself, Alex, I know you're interested in this. I have to be honest with you guys. I say, maybe, a little bit, not much. What you put in is what you get out. I don't care if your cat is green. What you put in is what you're going to get out. Socialize, expose, educate, make it fun, love, hug, and kiss. It's going to make all the difference in the world. So, yeah, according to this study, a cat breed can certainly affect its appearance, but can it affect its personality? I don't necessarily think it's going to affect their personality that much. Just my opinion, the way I think. Hey, by the way, the phone number for the network show, which will be starting at 1 o'clock, it's the same type of show, folks. I give away the same type of gifts. That number is 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. Be patient. Those calls go directly to the studios in Washington, D.C., and then they get dispersed via satellite. So, check it out. We'll answer your calls there. Lots of great stuff to give away. Until next week. Oh, by the way, check out my YouTube channel. Subscribe. It's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Get all this great information I share with you every day. youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Till next week, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you. One between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein. And thank you again for listening to The Pet Show.